Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming out to the Derby Arbor Day Celebration. Truly one of the most important days of the year. I think we can all agree, Arbor Day. Well, we got some thank yous we need to go through here before we get started with our some of the fun here this afternoon. First, we'd like to my name is Jason Griffin. I am the current chair of the Park and Urban Forestry Board. And on behalf of the board, we would like to thank you all for being here, taking time out of your afternoon. Also like to thank, we have Councilman Randy White is here. I'm not sure if any of the others made it, some of the other council members. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule. Mayor Ravello, thank you very much for being here this afternoon. We also need to thank the Arbor Day Foundation. We also need to thank the Derby City Council for their continued support of our park systems. The Derby High School Junior ROTC, thank you guys for coming out today. The Public Works Department, all this great equipment you guys are going to get to climb on it when we're done here today. Thanks for bringing this equipment out today, guys. And my fellow members on the Park and Urban Forestry Board, thank you so much for your efforts here also. Now I'd like to just take a moment, bring up the Director of Public Works, Mr. Robert Mendoza.
All right, thank you, Jason. Well, thank you for being here. I am Robert Mendoza, your Director of Public Works. And Mayor Bello, would you please come? We're going to be presenting Mayor Bello with our 21st year as a Tree City USA from the National Arbor Day Foundation. And once we're done, I just want to tell you that all of this equipment is here, right, for you to play on and enjoy. Be careful, but just imagine when this park is going to be under construction here very, very soon, becoming Central Park. So we're really excited about that. So at this time, Maribel, I would like to present to you the certificate. It says the City of Derby has been designated for certification as a Tree City USA. The city has met the requirements set forth by the National Arbor Day Foundation and the Kansas Forest Service, and this is our 21st straight year. Round of applause, please.
This is just an ongoing thing with the people of this community that make this community what it is, and we ought to be real proud, 21 straight years of receiving this. You ought to give yourselves a hand. Thank you.
All right, at this time, I have the honor of introducing our star attraction. You know, we talk about parks and we talk about ownership and long-term care and being responsible for what we have. And on our park board, we have a gentleman named Rick Dane. And who has ever heard of Ranger Rick? Anybody ever heard of Ranger Rick? Well, we have our very own real-life Ranger Rick Dane. So at this point in time, would you please welcome Ranger Rick?
Well, I've never been a star attraction before. It's kind of fun. I just got in from Peoria, Illinois, where I toured the Caterpillar plant. You see some of that equipment here. Saw how those were made. That was a very interesting trip. But I wanted to talk to you today about what Arbor Day really is. How did this start? I don't know how many of you actually know the history of it, but it started back in the 1800s. The most holidays remind us of past events. You agree? We celebrate past events. Arbor Day actually looks to the future. It's the only holiday that really does that. It's set aside as a conservation holiday, and conservation may be defined as the wise use of all of our natural resources for the permanent good of all people. It is a way of living that looks toward the future. The idea of Arbor Day started on January 4th, 1872, when J. Sterling Morton, then a member of the Nebraska Board of Agriculture, induced a resolution. That resolution said, Wednesday, the 10th day of April, 1872, be and the same is hereby especially set apart and consecrated for the planting of trees in the state of Nebraska, and the State Board of Agriculture hereby name it Arbor Day, and to urge upon the people of the state the vital importance of tree planting. He forcefully pictured to the people living upon the treeless plains of that state what a value, beauty, and comfort the planting of trees would bring. Wide publicity and support were given the plan, and over 1 million trees were planted in Nebraska that first Arbor Day. This man, Julius Sterling Morton, like his beloved trees, had roots set solidly in American soil. In 1855, he settled on a quarter section of land and immediately started planting trees. In a few years, he had an orchard of 300 trees. Later, another one of 1,000 trees. And as editor of the Nebraska City News, wrote frequently on the value and wisdom of tree planting. From 1858 to 1861, he was Secretary of the Territory of Nebraska, and for a few months was acting governor. He helped organize the Nebraska State Horticulture Society in 1869, and a little later was a member, then president of the State Board of Agriculture. In 1885, Nebraska had 700,000 acres of planted trees and had been nicknamed the Tree Planter State. In 1893, he became the third U.S. Secretary of Agriculture on the cabinet of President Grover Cleveland. Arbor Day gave impetus to the swing of public opinion from the destruction of forests. If you're not aware of that, logging companies used to go and just clear cut the trees and not replant. So it changed that whole mindset to replanting trees, not just cutting them down, but replanting them. He was responsible for that, changing that mindset. At first, it was observed only by agricultural organizations and by towns to encourage the planting of shade and forest trees, shrubs and vines along highways and about homes and public property. Educators soon recognized its worth, and in 1884, the National Education Association voiced this approval. They said, resolved that in view of the valuable results of Arbor Day, work in the 6 states where such a day has been observed, alike upon the school and the home, this association recommends the general observance of Arbor Day for schools in all our states. The dedication of one day each year to tree planting with fitting ceremonies has grown in popularity. Arbor Day is now observed in every state, the date varying with the region. About half the states have enacted laws fixing the date. In others, it is set by special proclamation of the governor. A few years ago, a movement was started to establish the last Friday in April as National Arbor Day. That's tomorrow. On July 10, 1949, Illinois became the 8th state to legally adopt this date. In some states, memorial trees and groves are planted on Arbor Day as living monuments to men who died in the service of our country. It's also observed in other countries, such as Australia. As a result of the effort of this one man, we now have over 1.5 million acres of urban parklands. The largest urban park is 490,125 acres in Alaska. Urban parks are used as much as 5 times more than national parks. U.S. urban park trees remove 75,000 tons of air pollutants annually, with an economic benefit of $500 million a year. The city of Derby has 330 acres of urban park space within the city limits. The important thing to remember is that urban parks belong to you. They belong to the people. And it's our responsibility to care for the parks by doing simple things like picking up our trash. The many uses for today's parks are multi-generational. Our new park rangers, who will be going through a process here and learning about the park system, will be able to earn a badge, very much like the real one I'm wearing, Junior Park Ranger badge, which I have in my pocket here if I can find it. Aha. This is it. You go through the process. There are 2 categories, ages 6 and below, and ages 6 through 10. So you will get a sheet, go through the different stages and fill out that sheet, and then you'll go to the table and you'll be sworn in as a Derby Junior Park Ranger. Thank you for coming today. I hope you have an enjoyable time.
Thank you very much, Rick. Let me just give you a quick rundown of some of the activities here today. First and foremost, Spriggs here. So inside there's an information table in there with the tree list and some recycling information on it. You can decorate your own flower pot, pail, and shovel to take home with you. There's the lollipop tree. Who doesn't love a good lollipop tree? Earn your Arbor Day badge, which Rick was just talking about. Which Ranger Rick was just talking about. Don't forget to play on some of this public works equipment. That, of course, is outside, not inside. We've got hot dogs and all the fixings over there for you. Don't forget to sign up for a raffle for a free rain barrel down on the end. We got lots of fun things for you to do. Some upcoming events. Citywide garage sale. Keep your kids off the street because there's a lot of drivers. May 15th to 17th. Rock River Rapids is going to open on May 26th. We got the Independence Day celebration on July 4th at High Park. And, of course, which should be another national holiday, the Barbecue Festival on September 13th at High Park. So that's what we got going on for you today. Some upcoming events. I want you to have a lot of fun. I thank you very much for coming. There's nothing worse than throwing a party and having nobody show up. So thank you very much for coming to our party tonight. Have fun.
Oh, you poor thing.
All water.
I get irritated because of some of the other boys in class.
I thought you knew. You want to make one? No, I was just coming over here to say hi. Come on, you should. No, please. Because it looks like there's plenty of packets. Okay. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, why don't you drive over, fence those
questions about it?
It'll cut here, it'll snap that, but the water will stay in the ground. Cool. And then we just come in there, put a new stem in there, bolt it back down, and put a new one in. It takes maybe about an hour to replace it, so it's real quick, real easy.
Cool. So is this the same exact supply that comes to the house?
Come out here, yeah. Swing it, walk it around. Yeah.